How does it feel when you've trusted someone so much only to have them leave you hanging, suspended in mid-air at a time when you need them the most? Very painful, right? Nobody wants to experience that. We all need someone in our corner, someone we can always count on to help us and stay with us, especially when the going gets tough and things become rough. At a time where people choose the easy way out, it can become quite difficult to know who is who until the time comes when their loyalty is tested. However, you can look out for these signs to know if a person is there for the long haul or not. Love. In the end, love always wins. Love will go the extra mile, take the pain and the blame, walk hand in hand with you through thick and thin, would cross high waters and take on mountains. This is one reason love is worth fighting for against all odds, because when every other thing fails, love will remain true. The scripture confirms this in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 8. Love never fails, never fades out or becomes obsolete or comes to an end. As for prophecy, the gift of interpreting the divine will and purpose, it will be fulfilled and pass away. As for tongues, they will be destroyed and cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. It will lose its value and be superseded by truth. So, even if every other thing fails, when family and friends desert you, when it looks like nobody cares a whit, what happens to you? Someone who loves you will never leave you. People might become tired of you and of helping you, but your true love won't. There is a reason we can always run back to our parents and family. It's because they love us despite ourselves. Even when other people reject us, we know we can still find a place to come back to. An example is the prodigal son. With the money he had received from home, he got a lot of friends that were only there to help him spend his money. When the money was there and things were going fine, they were there with him. But immediately the money ran out, they were nowhere to be found. In the heat of his sufferings, he remembered home. He remembered his father and received even more than the welcome he thought he would get. Despite that, he must have hurt his father by asking for his inheritance and leaving home. His father still welcomed him with open arms. His father did not give up on him because he loved him. So when you have someone who loves you for real, you can be sure that they won't give up on you, especially when you need them. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 13 says, "And so faith, hope, love abide. Faith, conviction and belief, respecting man's relation to God and divine things. Hope, joyful and confident expectation of eternal salvation. Love, true affection for God and man, growing out of God's love for and in us." These three, but the greatest of these is love. Remember, love is the greatest and it does not give up easily. That is one reason God has not given up on the world despite the wickedness that fills it and seems to multiply day by day. Even when we go against His will on several occasions, He still loves us and will stand by us through fire or water. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 1-2. When a person loves you, they'll do anything and everything for you. That includes sticking with you no matter the circumstances. Sacrifice. Sacrifice involves putting another person's need ahead of yours, going the extra mile and doing things even when they are not convenient. When you find someone that can do that for you, it's a sure sign that they are going to stand by you no matter what. If you want to know the depth of a person's love for you and in consequence their loyalty to you as a person, you can test them in the area of sacrifices and giving. We see this in the life of Abraham when God tested him with his only son. Even though it took him a long time to have that son, he still went ahead and was willing to sacrifice that one son to God. That means he was ready to risk the wrath of Sarah and imagine what killing his son would have done to him as a person. His family and life would never remain the same if God had not stepped in on time and stopped the death of Isaac. It meant that he was ready to risk all to keep his relationship with God intact. Sacrifices could take different forms. It could be in the form of time, money, resources, attention, energy, relationships, benefits, and many other things, and it starts with the little things. Would that person sacrifice a weekend vacation to help you with a very important outreach? What is their response when you are in dire need? Do they think about themselves first all the time? These are things you should watch out for. The rationale behind people making sacrifices for you is this: if they can give so much for your sake and even go to the extent of inconveniencing themselves, why wouldn't they be there at other times? With the number of sacrifices and investments they've made in your life, do you think they'll easily give up on you? No. That they are willing to make those sacrifices is an indication that they believe in you. And when someone believes in you, they will give their all and stand by you, even to the very end. We have a perfect example in Jesus. He gave up his life for our sake. That ultimate sacrifice goes a long way to show how much he loves mankind, and in a sense, that he would do anything to see our redemption. We have an assurance that if Christ died for us, then he would stand by us and be there for us at any point when we need him. Sacrifice is one of the major signs that a person won't let go of you easily. Constant communication. In our busy world today, it's something of a blessing if you find someone that calls you to check on you and to know how you're faring, despite their busy schedule. It shows that they have you on their mind. People have so many valid excuses these days for not keeping in touch. Once you're not physically present, they forget all about you or your existence. You cannot count on those kinds of people to be there when you need them. It might not be an everyday call or checking up, but every once in a while they will reach out to you and want to know if you're doing fine or otherwise. When you happen to have a need, you can easily call on them, knowing that they will come through for you no matter the time or the weather. They are supportive. People who support you and encourage you to fulfill your dreams are people you can always count on to be there during the tough times. They believe and trust you even when no one else would. These people will push you to achieve things you don't know you can achieve. They will not only provide the moral support, but also the physical and spiritual help that you need. As a result of the effort they have put into your life, you can be sure that they won't leave you hanging in your time of need. They are constantly defending you. Many times you're criticized by people around you, especially those whom you think you can draw support from or would encourage you, but you end up being disappointed. However, there is this one person that would stand by you and defend you even when the world is against you. Sometimes we're at fault and deserve the criticisms of people. We deserve the backlash that we get, and even in our minds, we might have condemned ourselves. Someone who will stand by you will not make you feel bad or depressed. They might correct your wrong deeds, but they will do it most lovingly and set your feet on the right path. To the whole world, they will defend you and bear the shame and pain of whatever you have to go through. We see an example in the woman caught in adultery in the scriptures. She was caught in the act, and so there was no denying whether she was guilty or not. The Pharisees and others already condemned her and were ready to stone her according to the law, but they came to Jesus to hear his opinion so they could find fault with him and his judgment. But we see what Jesus did. He said, "Whosoever was without sin should be the first one to cast a stone," and in the end, none was able to do that because they were all guilty of one sin or the other. Jesus was not in support of the woman's act, but neither did he condemn her, and in the end, he was able to save her from those that would have killed her. Someone who defends you before others is someone who will stand by you. That is the sign that the person won't give up on you easily. People like these are rare treasures that should be guarded and well kept. When you have people like this in your life, you should hold on to them and not let go of them.